Speaking of things not looking good for humanity, Fukushima, Gulf oil spill, other natural disasters, gas spewing in California from a well. Let's add my state to the mix, shall we? Florida nuclear facility spewing radioactive waste into the bay. What's that? You like lobsters? You like to go lobstering in Florida? I'm not sure that's a good idea anymore. A Florida nuclear power plant is contaminating Biscayne Bay with radioactive waste, creating a potential public safety threat. Potential public safety threat? And threatening South Florida's drinking water supply. Potential public safety threat and threatening South Florida's drinking water supply. Remember old J. Snip 4's 3 things that turned to 4 things he wanted you to have? Guns and ammunition to fend off the bad guys when the time comes. Precious metals, freeze-dried or dehydrated food storage, at least 6 months supply. And I said I'm recently going to now start adding, whenever I talk about it, a 4th thing, highly filled water through a reverse osmosis filter system. Excuse me. I'm pretty sure I said that before this happened. The date on this is actually the 3rd. Oh no, that doesn't count. The 10th of March, so just a few days ago. Public safety threat, potential public safety threat, and threatening Southern Florida's drinking water supply. You have to take the responsibility into your own hands. You can no longer trust the systems and system itself that's in place to keep you safe, protected, etc. You are the only one who's going to be able to do it. So you have to decide what you're going to put in your body, both food and water. And of those, man, water's pretty damn important. Clean water. I remember a long time ago my wife sent me something about these, I guess you call them Eskimo people, living way up some completely far off place in Alaska where it's like ice and stuff all the time. There's no like summer in this part. And they just live off the water, which is like from an old, millions of years old, whatever, ice. And I guess the nutrients and things in this ice that they melt into the water, melt down the water, are fantastic, pure, clean. And these people live to like 100, like it's normal. A study conducted, now I got a problem with this, but I'll get to that in a second. A study conducted by the University of Miami conclusively found that the contaminated water being used to cool the Florida Power and Light, or FPL, plant is leaving the canal system intended to contain it and entering the bay. Why is there a study by a university? EPA, Department of so-and-so, Health and Safety. Somebody, isn't that your job? Aren't you guys doing that, all the time? You're supposed to? Nah, let's have the University of Miami handle that one. Okay. The pollution is threatening South Florida water drinking supply in Biscayne National Park. The Southern Alliance for Clean Energy asserted. In 2013, the plant increased their output by 15%, causing the canals with the cooling water to run much higher than they previously had. On top of this, the plant was cleared by nuclear regulators to run the canals at 104 degrees, making them the hottest in the nation, the Herald reported. This study confirms that FPL miscalculated The impact uprating Turkey Point's reactors to generate more power would cause, Laura Reynolds of SACE told Common Dreams on Tuesday. They continue to make record profits while our water supply gets loaded with at least 600,000 pounds of salt daily, and our national park is polluted and drinking water is threatened. Florida State Representative Jose Javier Rodriguez took to Twitter on Tuesday, releasing a statement calling for the EPA to take action in protecting the area's water supply. You know, the same EPA that flooded the mine. I forget which state it was. I did a video talking about this. After a local person there put in a newspaper, the EPA is going to come in here, claim they're going to fix this, and they're going to flood the mine, and it's going to get out there and pollute this main river so that they can then clean it up. And it's going to cost massive amounts of money, which will keep them in business and keep their employees employed. And then it happens. Exactly as he said. I got an idea. Mr. Jose Javier Rodriguez, we want the EPA to come over here and take action. Oh, that's a great enforcement agency there. The lack of state enforcement has enabled matters to reach a point where a state administrative law judge recommended rescission of the Florida Department of Environmental Protection's administrative order on Turkey Point, finding their actions inadequate, Rodriguez wrote. In light of continued issues and this recent evidence of potential threats to public safety and the environment, I respectfully request that the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency take action to protect the public under powers granted your agency by the Clean Water Act, the Safe Drinking Water Act, or other legal authority. State regulators have unfortunately failed to adequately do so, and I ask for your agency's direct involvement. So we have the Clean Water Act, the Safe Drinking Water Act, and other legal authority. What do? Let's throw legislation at it. That's what we do here. Name it something. Again, they always name it something notable, noteworthy, noble. The Clean Water Act, the Safe Drinking Water Act, and other legal authority. How's that working out for you? How's the Safe Water Act, the Clean Water Act working for you? Pretty good? Nuclear power plant, cooling water, leaking over into the bay. Where have we seen that before? Oh, Fukushima, massive meltdown of numerous reactors, not a canal leaking, cooling water. All the cooling water and the reactors and the spent fuel rods burned down are gone, spewing radiation into the ocean to this day. And as I mentioned, the crabbing season in California or off the coast has been cut indefinitely, stopped due to a toxic algae on the crab, and if humans eat it, it's toxic to the human. Cover story, but at least I can say they're giving you a reason to stop you from doing it. I don't even know what the full amount of fishermen bring in every year just in the Pacific Ocean. And not just in California or, America's sake. Other countries, fishing in general in the Pacific Ocean, it's got to be so many billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars, it'll make you sick. So what do? We fake it. I'm sure other countries, maybe not even because they're aware of it, are out there fishing the hell out of those seas. I can say at least California, and it's not the federal government, but California, I believe, is the one that shut it down. And they shut other types of fishing down last year, and I think the year before. Shut some down early. We're going to shut this one down. There's a low number. We're seeing low numbers, so we're going to shut. It's all an excuse. I don't know why the government just can't tell the truth for once. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you remember Fukushima, the earthquake that knocked this plane out of commission, destroyed the nuclear reactors over in Japan. Yep, okay. We've been monitoring it for the last several years, and we're noticing sea life alterations and deaths and stillborn births from big whales and other animals, sea lions, all kinds of stuff. These are all symptoms, actually, of radioactive poisoning, and we've been looking into it over these last few years. It appears that that's exactly what's happening. Because that's happening, we're going to ask that no one get in the water anymore off the coast of California. Sorry about your luck, surfers. We're going to ask that you don't eat seafood anymore from the Pacific Ocean. And lastly, fishermen, we're sorry about your luck, but you can't fish anymore, because what do you do with the fish? You sell it for people to eat. So we can't have that. So what happens? Anyone that's a fisherman on the west coast of America, you're out of business. But have no fear, I'll sue the power plant company that ran Fukushima. And do you think they, or the insurance company that they may have, because you know they have insurance companies, nuclear power plant, come on, you know they have insurance. The catastrophic loss of revenue that this would create if they came out and told the truth would be so devastating. There wouldn't be any insurance company that could withstand that, nor can the nuclear power plant company that owns it, TEPCO or whatever, could they sustain the amount of money they would have to pay out in lost revenues, businesses, etc. So what do? The state does. We're just going to close the season down early, and at that point, the fishermen have to be smart. Don't turn on the mainstream media. Go find your news yourself. Why? Because you'll find out the real reason why they're closing down fishing, in this case crabbing. Why? Because they're radioactive. That's why. Now you can sue. And the first ones of you to figure that out and sue will be the ones who get some money. If everyone else catches on, that's when it starts to get tough. However, you have the government lying for you. So the government lying for you, the average fisherman's going to say, oh, the stupid damn government, man, always meddling in our stuff. I don't know if I believe them about this damn crabbing, but in any case, if it's true, I guess we can't crab. You can't sue them. They're looking out for your best interest. You have no one to sue. This is a natural act of God, so to speak, that the crabs got this algae that's toxic. It's due to, as I said, warmer waters. Oh, I bet the waters are warmer. I bet they are. It's probably some fuel rods smoking all the way, under sea stills, steaming. The whole freaking sea is poisoned. So theoretically, you can sue. But what data are you going to use? Go to the government. Can I have that data? Their data is going to show toxic algae. It's not going to show radioactive whatever. You are going to have to hire a company to go out there and do the study or research for you. And I'm pretty certain it won't be too hard for them to find that it's actually radioactive active crap in the water that's destroying the sea life. But that's what you're going to have to go through in order to prove your case. And then if you prove your case and start to sue TEPCO, it's going to make some kind of news. Fishermen are now suing TEPCO, blah, 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 blah. You're going to hear something in the news. And God forbid if it's proven that it's radioactive. Because then everyone gets to hear the truth at that point. Everyone who likes to get in that water and surf and do all the things they do. Some people are diving and fishing and just driving in their boats. You couldn't pay me to even sit in the boat out there. You couldn't even pay me to sit in the boat. I would not want to take the chance. And now here I am, clear across America, from the West Coast at least, all the way over to the East Coast, to Florida. And we've got a power plant leaking its crappy water, cooling water, into Biscayne Bay. When people go lobstering, where do they go? That area. East coast of Florida, the far east coast, the actual coast, Atlantic coast, and Biscayne Bay is actually one of the places in that general area where people definitely go lobstering. All I can think of is if one or two devastating earthquakes happen in America, like Japan, because we got nuclear plants everywhere, and we have one incident like that, what's it going to do? All these abandoned oil wells, do these companies even keep up with those things anymore? They've capped them off, they leave, and they've never come back. Is the pipe and stuff, the well itself down there, like rotting away? I'm sure it is. It's, metal piping and casings, right? It's going to rot away at some point. You just have to wonder, like, again, some little earthquake or something happens, and next thing you know, you have some kind of oil leak coming from deep down. Well, we thought that was capped. Breaking news, oil spill in southern Louisiana, and it was BP, another BP well. This one's inland, but due to the ground shift of unknown reasons, the ground shifted, sinkhole opened up, and now this well's spewing oil or natural gas or whatever the hell it is. I mean, you can just see, it's just like a slow motion train wreck of humans creating their own destruction. It's a slow motion train wreck as far as we're concerned from our point of view, as long as we live, let's just say roughly 80 years. But if you were around for thousands of years, that was your lifespan, and you're alive for, let's say, 5,000 years, and you're 3,000 years into your life, so you got another cool 2,000 years to go. You got to see everything, and then you get up, you see how slow everything was, and all these wars and things that happen, whatever, you're used to that. And then all of a sudden around the year 1900 and 2000, that roughly 150 years, let's just say, from like late 1800s till now, you see this massive increase in just stuff, technology and booming Earth as far as humans are concerned, and massive population growth. Just, you're sitting there and, oh wow, 100 and something years has gone by, and I'm looking back the last 2,000 years I've been alive, 3,000. You're going to easily conclude something ain't right here. And then you're also going to see all these problems that are now arising with this technology and nuclear power and oil leaks and gas. Even though you're sitting there saying, I already know you guys have the technology to get rid of all that crap. You don't need nuclear power anymore. You don't need oil and gas especially. You've got technology. As the head of Skunk Works Division, Lockheed Martin, said in 1993, as he retired, we have the technology to take E.T. home, but it will take an act of God to get Congress to, or whatever, to get it out to the public. And I'm here to tell you, they will never release that kind of technology to the public for national security purposes, so that only the few have that technology, while the rest of us, including their own planet, is in demise. They will hang on to it. So it makes me wonder about, do you believe in Atlantis and all this? You know what? I do. And I see these, and again, the pyramid, one of the pyramids or whatever, it shows picture of like a submarine, some kind of spacecraft, a jet-looking thing, a helicopter. Egypt, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years ago. Why is this on here? Why is this painting? They found this little golden airplane with a cockpit seat, about this big, in like a Peruvian jungle or something. I forget where they found this thing. Doing an archaeological expedition. They dig this thing up. It's carbon dated to be, I don't remember the exact time frame, but a couple thousand years old at least. Made of pure gold, in the absolute shape of a jet, except I think it was missing the rear stabilizer or something. And they made a replica in an RC remote control project, and threw it. Turned the only difference was the one that they had that was gold didn't have a propeller anywhere, they could, as far as I could tell, and they weren't sure if the thing had like a jet engine or whatever, but they weren't sure. But the fuselage, the whole thing was absolutely a fuselage. So they said, we're gonna put a propeller on the thing. That's the only difference we're going to do. We just want to see if it can actually fly and it's stable with the design that they have. The son of a bitch flew fine. And I show it right in the video. Boop. The thing flies off. He's controlling it. It's flying in the air. It's doing its thing. This 2,000-3,000 old relic dug up in the jungle flies. Granted, they replicated it. And it flies. So again, what happened thousands of years ago? If that technology existed then, and we so-called just developed it in the late 1800s, early 1900s, airplanes and then jet engines and rockets and all that stuff, how the hell did they already have it? What's that old saying? What is already has been. So again, makes you wonder who had all the technology. Were the people all over the planet using this stuff? No. Not the real good stuff, right? So here we are. We have this technology. You know it's highly classified stuff. It's anti-gravity, whatever you want to call it, technology. You know it exists. Lockheed Martin, head of the Skunk Works division, said so. Basically. Take an act of God to get it released to the public. And I'm here to tell you, no matter how many of you decide to hope and pray to God that it gets released, ain't gonna happen. You have to pray to the human gods, your masters, J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the club. Pray to them. You'll have better luck getting that stuff released. Because at least to them, you'll acknowledge their superiority over you. And they may say, oh, okay, he's respecting my authority, so maybe we'll release a little bit to him. You would have better luck doing that. Hate to say it, but you know it's true. Take care.